Good morning. I gotta find I gotta find some music for us today, even though we know the music on Spotify is speed up. There you coffee. I'm gonna give you a minute to get your coffee. I feel this one matches my hair today. I got caught in the wind a couple days ago, and it's just wild. How are you? I can't even do this song. Yeah, good for you. As you join Coffee Club this morning, please say hello in the comments. Let me know you're hanging out. Coffee tastes amazing today. Hi, Helen. Welcome. Just waiting for the gang. I know. This part's lame. If you're scrolling, don't keep scrolling. It's going to get better. Marginally at best, but still better. Let's stop this bad boy. Okay, we good. As you join Virtual Coffee Club this morning, please say hi in the comments. This is, if you haven't been part of it before, a live podcast that you get to be a part of. So, how you're a part of joining Virtual Coffee Club is by commenting and being a part of the conversation. It's not as exciting if you're not as a part of it. Does that make sense? I'm having a hard time talking today. Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Kelly, good morning. I feel like today my brain is working at a different speed than my mouth. So that could be interesting to say the least. But welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. This is our place of connection, our place of community. We'll chit chat and have some fun. Suzanne Kelly, good morning. Congratulations on your new job. I saw that on social media. That was really fun. I'm so excited for you. Cheers. Let's give everybody congrats to Suzanne. Ms. Cooper, how are you? Funny, I was thinking of you yesterday, Mick, because I'm doing a big spring clean purge and I found another not used yet, so I can unpack it and make it fun. Michaela Cooper car. What are those things called? Those aroma things that you hang in your car. Why is the word of it just completely went right out of my brain? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, Michaela. Oh, Jim, where are you from again? You're never going to let me live that down. Suzanne, I'm so glad you're excited. Welcome to it. Air freshener. Is that the word I'm looking for? Air freshener. Okay. The words come and go. This week was exciting in the community. Thank you, Cheryl, that I live in. You see this guy? He was just walking around our neighborhood. Oh, somebody's texting me at the same time. He was just walking around our neighborhood yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? This big moose. How fun is that? I know, it's crazy. So today I didn't have any particular topic in mind, but I feel like there's so much. Like this morning, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to take a quick boo at, I think I went to msn.com. Okay. So it's all of the news, right? I've been sort of not avoiding the news, but just not wanting to access that information into my brain and into my energy of late. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to take a quick boo. The things that are happening around the world are heavy and they're hard. and they're sad and they're difficult to comprehend and process. And that feels heavy, right? And so then I thought, I'm going to look for some positive news stories for us to talk about today. So that's what we're going to do. That's what, if you know a cool positive one, I want you to share it in the comments. So the big moose that was hanging out in High River, she's beautiful. And it was really fun to have this piece of nature. I mean, ultimately, we don't want our beautiful God's creations to be walking around our streets because I fear for their safety in that regard, but it was really cool to see one up so close. That was really fun. So, we're going to share some positive news stories today, and we're going to share in some positive space together. So, hopefully that works for you. If you're just hanging it wherever you are, we're going to start off with let's take a big, deep breath. And then we're going to focus on this positive energy. And what's really cool is I've been doing a lot of reading, and there's some interesting science and research behind the power. And we talked about this with Brad Yates last week, the power of collective gathering and positive energy and positive thought, because everything is energy. And so when we focus on those positive pieces, it actually sends positivity into everywhere. You know what I mean? Not a scientist, just like reading about it. Get all sciencey and stuff. Good morning, Krista. Welcome. So, yeah, I want you to close your eyes for a minute. I want you to drop your shoulders. And I want you to take a big, deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And like sigh it out. Do one big those. If you feel like you need one more, do one more. Okay. So I looked at Googling positive news or good news stories to share in. And again, if you know of one, maybe it's happening in your community, maybe you came across it in one of your social media feeds or with you were surfing the web, please share it in the comments. But I had a chuckle because one of the first things that came up when I was searching for positive news to talk about is this asteroid that they first discovered in space in 1950. And basically, this asteroid that they discovered is slated at that time to impact with Earth on March 16th of 2880. And the story has been, I think, circulating since the discovery of 1950. And they just keep doing updates because every few years they'll reassess this asteroid that's headed to our doom. And so then I'm thinking, as I'm first reading this story, I'm like, why is this in the good news story file? But it turns out that they did a recent assessment on this asteroid, and it's now at a lower risk of completely destroying us. So I laughed because that was the good news story. It's like, hey, good news. It's not going to be as bad as we thought. Are you kidding me? Like, so anyway, if the asteroid of 1950 has been keeping you up at night over the past several years, I just want you to rest easy. It's not going to be as bad as they thought. I don't know. Where do people come up with these things? It was difficult to find cool things, and I didn't take a whole lot of time on it. I will be honest with you, because I know that you know those good stories too, and it was kind of neat. But the other thing, speaking of the sciencey things that get me jazzed, I don't know. I think maybe I'm supposed to marry a scientist or something someday. But the other story that I came across that I thought was really fascinating is there's a team in Nigeria that has created a bra that can detect early breast cancer. Is this not the coolest thing you've ever heard of? So this is when technology becomes our friend. I think lots of times we feel like, you know, the technological advancements of the world have been great, but they're also detrimental. And maybe we're more disconnected. And what does that look like? And we can talk the pros and cons of social media, but we have an opportunity like right now where we're using that technology and that platform for good, right? We're using our power for good and not evil. So anyway, this bra has to be worn for a minimum of 30 minutes to be able to do the test detection. And what it does is it uses ultrasound sensors that scan through, and it can look for tumors in the breasts while it's doing this scan. And what's really cool about this technology is it can also, in that scan, determine if the tumors or bumps or lumps that they're finding are benign or malignant in wearing this thing. Would that be not so much better than test? You know what I'm talking about? Now, I've not had one of those tests myself yet. I'm getting to that age, but I'm not quite there yet. But this is a bra. And what's really cool, I think, is that the fact that the team has developed this in Nigeria is because it really became a heartfelt project for a number of people on the team. Because in Africa, them being much more spread out and not having the same privileges that we do here in North America, is they have to travel significant distances to be able to even get any testing done for that. And so many women die every year in countries like Nigeria and in on the continent of Africa because they can't get access to these things. So these bras are going to be able to be distributed, and I'm hoping that some beautiful corporation will could put these out in, like, sponsor to put them out in mass elements to communities where women would be able to have access to this technology. So a bra that can do it. I thought that was a really cool news story. Are you with me on that? That is really cool. And that was a fascinating story to me because I just thought, wow, I don't know if I could wear it for 30 minutes straight. Well, I don't know. Maybe this becomes some personal conversation, Cheryl, but don't you wear one all day anyway? Maybe you don't. No judgment. But 30 minutes, like I'm usually stuck in one of those things for hours. And I don't know. I think 30 minutes over squishing it as flat as it could go is would be an upswing. I told you, my brain and the words not matching today at all. But I thought that was really cool. So, like, kudos out to that team that is creating that. That is really fun. I mean, as fun as it is that we even require technology to do that, like, it's just, but it's our reality. So I think that was a cool story, and I'm excited for where that is going to go and how many lives could potentially be saved from that technology. I think will be amazing. What's a good news story that you've heard of late, have seen, have read? Maybe you've experienced something that has felt really positive this week. Share that in the comments, and let's connect with each other on some of those positive, feel good stories. I've been spring cleaning, as I said, and I don't know if you're in the mood or the desire to do that, but that feels so magnificent. I have never been so excited in my life to get rid of things. Lots of donating, lots of dump runs, and it feels really good. What about you? I mean, I feel like it's officially, I mean, spring has officially arrived, but the weather in our neck of the woods has definitely felt a lot more like it's here for real. I still know that, especially those of us in Alberta, we have to prepare for the S word because I don't think that season is gone for us completely yet. But the next couple of days, there are temperatures up like in the significant double digits. So I think that's going to be great. Helen shares, mammograms are not fun. So a bra that could do it without being flattened and sore for days sounds like a God bless. Absolutely. And just think too, like, Helen, I think about how many women do we know in our lives who are probably delaying tests like that, or completely afraid or avoiding altogether tests like that because they're so fearful, because their anxiety would be so high, because they're unsure. And I mean, I think that that comes from being scared. Whenever you're tested for something, you have those moments where you're scared for the result. But I think that there's a lot of women in our world who, we probably step into it a lot more than the men in our life. I think we can, not slamming our dudes, but they like to avoid medical things like so much. But I just think of so many people who have been afraid of that, that maybe would get, if we're able to have access to more of these in the future, how many more people could be tested? And I think too, in how does that reflect then into costs to our healthcare systems? So I would imagine that running mammography units and doing those tests and those scans are highly expensive. So I have no idea what one of these bras would be worth, but could the flip side of that really be able to save money in our healthcare system and what that looks like? It's interesting. And then maybe they could make like, I don't know, an underwear version for men for prostate. Maybe more men would get tested for that because I know that one's scary for people. If a man were to have this test, they'd probably never have another one. Yeah, I think it's like there's some truth to that. There's a reason why we have the children, girls. There's a reason. We are we are the strong. Anyway, I thought that was a cool story today. What do you got? What do you want to share? What's on your mind today? What are you feeling? We've got a couple more minutes to have coffee together. And yeah, I want to know what's on your mind today. I'm not sure if you had the chance to, if you were with us live or caught it on the replay, our conversation with Christy Morgan of, I think it was last week. You know me and my concept of time, which doesn't exist anymore. I forget everything. So Christy chatted with us about her work that she does in bridging the gap with Indigenous and non-Indigenous groups. And she agreed to come back to have continued conversations with us on how we together can learn proper, I don't know if proper is the right word, but you know what I mean? So we're more comfortable in having allied conversations with our friends in Indigenous communities so that we can be better actionators of change in our world as we come together as humankind. And she's going to be back with us on Wednesday of next week to have another conversation. So I would love to hear from you, whether you post it in the comments or if you'd like to send me a private message, you can do that also. But any questions or conversation ideas that you would like to know revolving around our Indigenous communities? Is there something you would like to know? Something you would like to know how to do better? Something you've been curious about, but were afraid to ask because you thought you might offend somebody by asking the question? I'm going to step in and be your voice for you and ask some of those questions. And one of the things that I'm hoping to connect with her about next week is a phrase that we've heard a lot, I think, in conversation on socials going around, and that's cultural misappropriation. So what does that mean? How do we do that? How do we not do that? What do some of those parameters look like around that, and how can we move into it too? So if you have any questions or curiosities or things that you would like to know, feel free to post them in the comments or send me a private message if you don't want to post that question publicly. And I won't say who asked the question when we ask her next week. We're just going to dive down into having some conversation. And I think sometimes it's important, although I like to stay positive and light most of the time in the show, I think it's also really important that we have some uncomfortable conversations so that we can grow together and continue to evolve and become humans that lead with love and our hearts so much more. And that can be a little bit scary and that can be a little, feel a little vulnerable, but we're going to step into that motion as much as we can. So let me know what kind of things pop into your brain that you would love to know more about. Because I know I probably have 1,000 questions, which probably means you do. And I want to know what yours are. Check this out. Cheryl says her good news story. She says, what about the girl from Nova Scotia who won Jeopardy? Whoop, whoop. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's so, Cheryl, in watching that, did you have a moment where you're like, I wish Alec Trebek was still with us? Because with him being from Canada originally also, I think would have been really cool with a Canadian winner, that he would have had that moment where he would have really celebrated that, I think. I think it would have been really cool. So it was one of those like, oh, missing Alec Trebek. And just that Canada love. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a good one. That's an awesome one. Anybody bought a lottery ticket lately? How's that going? Oh, Helen says she's gardening. That's her good news story. That's her thing. That's what she wants to do. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you this morning, Helen, that maybe you would know because I'm unsure of the process. So, when you have a plant that you like cut off and get an offshoot of, and then you put it in water to root it so that you could replant it. I have no idea what the proper terminology is of that process, but I thought I'm going to try it because I had this beautiful coleus plant with beautiful bright pink leaves that got hit with frost last year before I was able to bring it in time. And I tried to revive her over the winter, but I was not doing her justice at all. But she had this like 2 little leaf shoots that were beautifully green, and the rest was so dying. So I cut off these 2 pieces and put them in a glass of water because I thought I'm going to save this and I'm going to do this. So my question, Helen, is once it starts to make the roots in the glass of water, how is there like proper steps of how I now plant those to create new plants? That's my question for you gardeners out there is does it need to be a certain length of root? Does it need to be a certain time? Do I start off with a really small pot and then keep it going as it grows? Do I just put it in a big pot? Like I am lost at what to do next. But as I look over on the counter, they are sprouting, rooting, whatever it is, nicely in this glass of water. And I'm so surprised that I've been able to do this part. So what's next? Kelly says, Stars lottery draw today. Hoping for the call that I've won. Well, gee whiz, Kelly. I don't know if you guys know this about family member Kelly here, but she wins everything. Everything. All the time. Always winning stuff. You are 4-leaf clover in your butt kind of girl, and I love it. So you probably will get that call today, Kel, and I can't wait for it. Keep it in humid conditions. I live in Southern Alberta, Jim. We don't have humidity here. Put a plastic bag around it. For how long? Like, when is it time to plant it? Or am I putting the bag around it after I plant it? You need to give me more words, Jim. This is not enough words. More words. I feel like that's been the theme of my week. I just need a few more words. The non-words, I don't understand. Okay, friends, I'm going to give you time I will check back in the comments. But if you have gardening tips or if you're catching this on the replay and you know what I do with this coleus plant, together, my friends, we will bring her back in all her glory. I'm hoping times 2 because I've managed to sprout 2 of them. Bag the plant in water. Okay. And then what? For how long? Jim, it's like, you are such a man here. You got to give me more words. Helen, just have a good root ball, like at least a good thumb thick root. Once you have that, put it in a bigger pot, lots of sunshine. Okay, so I've got to give it more time in the cup. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you it. We'll go from there. I want to be mindful of your time and our coffee break together this morning. We've hit our time limit in the show. Thank you so much for connecting and having fun today. Big cheers to you. Have an amazing rest of your Thursday today. And thank you, as always, for being a part of Virtual Coffee Club. We will be back tomorrow morning, Friday, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And when we will have a little plant update, we'll go from there. Shannon, you have a beautiful day also. Thank you. We will enjoy this. The mountains look like a postcard today. We are so lucky to live where we live. Yeah, Jenny, because I think you can see them from your house, can't you? Cheers to you. Have an amazing rest of your Thursday. We'll be back Friday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Another opportunity for us to connect together. And let's stay connected, my friends. Remember, you are an incredible, essential, brilliant part of our world, and we are so grateful that you are in it. Have an amazing rest of your day, and make sure you spread some love.